Hey Harrison, as you guys start to wrap up this season, how do you process last night and then begin to move forward to the off season?
Um, last night fucking sucked. Um, 24 hours, so it's still in that first wave of pain, I guess. But um, gotta have a growth mindset about the whole thing, and hope that we can get ourselves in the same position again, or even better, playing at home in the seasons to come. But I think everyone eventually will kind of look at themselves and see what they could have done better, how we could have played as a group better. Um, so yeah, just a lot of reflection and sorrow today. I mean, today's a hard day.
Yeah, and as you look back on the regular season and even the postseason too, and what the defense was able to put together, I mean, you guys ranked number one for so long. What are some of your thoughts on what the group did and what you guys put together this year?
Yeah, that's something that we can be proud of for the rest of our lives. I remember, I think I said it the week that the regular season ended. We are part of history. When you go back and look up the 2021 regular season, we'll be the number one defense in the world. So I'm extremely proud of my teammates and the staff that coached us to be in that to have that accolade. But again, obviously, winning would be more important than that accolade. But still, there's a lot to be grateful for, and we have to look back, especially when the pain, the dust settles a little bit, and be grateful for being like this. It's probably just as rare to be a part of a number one defense as it is to win a Super Bowl. There's only one team that gets to do that each year. Obviously, we switch them in a heartbeat, but it's still something that we can be proud of.
Thanks, Harrison.
Hey, Harrison. John Morrow with the Associated Press. I guess it's early to ask this question, but it's obviously a question with your contract being up and your thoughts about the future and knowing what you've accomplished here and knowing you've got unfinished business here.
Yeah, I have a lot of personal capital built up here in this organization and with these people. They know my value better than any other team because they've got to see the person that I am, obviously on the field, but the things that you can't measure, the leadership qualities and what I do in the community here and all those things. So, I would hope to be here. There hasn't been any talks yet, but I would love to revenge these 3 years in a row now in the playoffs on the road losing. And yeah, there's definitely some vengeance.
Gotcha. And one thing, just from a team perspective, the one thing that seemed to be missing this year is the Bills' inability to win the closer games. You were, I think, 10-1 in one score games last year, or something to that effect, and you couldn't seem to do it this year. Can you pinpoint what might have been the issue?
Do you know what our record was?
This year, you didn't win one game decided by one score.
Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think every game was a case study in itself, per se. Being completely different. We are built in a way that we are resilient and can win in those games. We definitely trust the people, Josh with the ball or our defense to make the stand, or Josh to win the game for us. I guess the ball is shaped a really weird way and it bounces different ways sometimes. But I think one thing we all need to have a better understanding of is something we preach all the time, and that's situational awareness of exactly what the situation is, how many timeouts, where we are on the field, what they need, point, all those things that go into account. And so maybe that's another thing that we'll continue to focus on.
Thanks, Harrison. Enjoy your off season.
Hey, Harrison. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Can you speak on the brotherhood in the locker room and the bond that you all share?
We're extremely close team, and we're close as a team, we're close as a defense, and we're close as a defensive line room. And the position groups. So we built a solid unity even through the OTA-ish period where we were here, where we weren't here, we were virtual, and then through training camp and all the stuff that happened this season, we stuck together. We didn't point fingers because we had really high highs and really low lows. But yeah, the brotherhood is incredible. That's what adds an extra layer of emotion when you come out of a season like this, knowing that it's not going to be the same the following year because of the people you're losing. The pieces are going to be the same. There's going to be defensive ends. There's going to be linebackers. There's going to be corners and safeties and nose guards, and but it's not going to be the same person in those positions. And I've been with people now for 4 years. Some people have been here for 5. Jerry Hughes has been here a lifetime. Knows all these guys, and you have such a good connection and friendship with someone. It's like when your buddies go away for college, or when you finish college and go back to the real world. I mean, there's a lot of layers of emotion there.
What are some of the things that you've learned from Jerry Hughes in your time in Buffalo?
I think he's probably my closest friend who's a father. I'm 25 years old, so my friends back home yet that are like my best friends, no one has children yet, and my sister doesn't either. So I get to see Jerry in the last 4 years raise his very young kids into like kids and have another child, and holding Hayden when she was a baby, and now she's like a girl running around, and yeah, so I think I've learned a lot from him in that role, and how great of a husband he is with Megan. And then on the field, I came into the NFL a very, very nice guy on the field too. Every time I tackled someone, I want to help them up, or I don't know, I just was a very nice football player, and Jerry kind of helped show me that it's not a nice game. There's a lot of violence in the game, and you can be a bully out there, try to be a superhero out there. And so he's been good for my development and that confidence in myself and being a dog.
Turned you from Harrison Phillips to Horrible Harry on the
I guess
on the
so.
field.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great off season.
Harrison, when you look back from week 1 until this point of the season, how do you best encapsulate just how everything played out for the team as a whole?
I guess just a long roller coaster ride, 20-some week roller coaster with, like I mentioned earlier, really high highs and some low lows. But a group that remained resilient, and like I mentioned earlier, the ball just bounced the wrong way. The coin flip landed the wrong way, and still proud of the group.
I know you're on the defensive side of the ball, but you get plenty of time to get the chance to watch Josh Allen go to work on the field. And last season was kind of his breakout year. And some people question in terms of just how he can replicate that heading into this season. But seeing how he performed, especially last night, just what do you say about Josh Allen overall in terms of his play in 2021? Yeah,
I mean, obviously full bias because he's my best friend, but I believe he's the best football player in the world. It's incredible to see what he does and how he can make plays, and fourth down, he's going to convert. What he did last night, again, no surprise to me. I know that I know who he is. And I think that although we came up short and he doesn't care anything about all that, I think a lot of people respect him more for how well he played. Now, he would have rather won the game, obviously, but starting to get the national attention that he deserves, I think.
Thank you, Harrison.
Hey, Harrison, this is Jay with the Buffalo News. You've persevered through a lot here in 4 years, including a pretty tough knee injury and bounced back from that. Is there anything that you point to that allowed you, particularly this season, to work your way into a starter on this defense?
I mean, I think I would definitely go back to my faith in God and my testimonial kind of thing. I've had a really solid relationship with Christ and Christianity my whole life from my parents' upbringing. And I think I'd be ignorant to say that like I did this on my own and it's some, by my own doing. I think that a lot of things happened for a reason and that were completely out of my control. And I consider those things to be blessings. And so I think, I got to give appreciation to God for that.
You've rightfully been proud of where this defense finished in the regular season. Given the way, though, that last night finished for this defense and the struggles that you had in the fourth quarter and overtime to get off the field when there were chances to do so, do you feel like that this unit is going to sort of be judged a little bit by that? And is that fair?
Yeah, I think that in the NFL, they always say you're as good as what you put on film last, your most recent thing. So yeah, people are probably going to talk a lot about that. And, but no, maybe it's fair, maybe it's not. It's not up for me to decide. But again, I know that I would go to war with those 10 other guys, or, every player that we have out there, the 10 other guys, I would take that field with against anybody in any situation with a single blade of grass. I'd still go out with that group right there.
Thanks. And then last for me, Leslie's, he's had head coach interviews last offseason. He's got him again this year. What's he meant for this defense, and potentially what would it mean if he were to get one of those opportunities? I know obviously personally you'd be thrilled for him, but the defense would change. So, what could that mean?
Yeah, he'd definitely be a loss just because he's been such a consistent, coach for us, and we know what we're going to get with him. And his approach is very methodical and professional, and we all appreciate Coach Frazier. But like you mentioned, I hope that he becomes a head football coach if that's one of the goals that he has for himself. He deserves it, and I think that organization would be getting someone who understands how to change the culture of a program and how to play great defense.
Thanks for your time, as always, Harrison.
Hey, Harrison, you mentioned how, you guys want to use last night to motivate y'all for the future and how there's kind of a similar taste to the way last season ended. But what feels different about what you guys are going through right now compared to a year ago?
Pretty similar feelings, I would say. I would say maybe, I don't know if this is right. I think last year, because it was the first time we made a solid stretch and the first time we had a home playoff game and stuff like that, that when the season ended, the external feeling outside of the building was a lot of gratitude and gratefulness for what the team did for the city and how far they made it for a long time and all those things. And so this year, I think externally, fans or media or whatever, there's now an expectation for us to have done that again, make an AFC championship. And if we're building something here, that means each year we're supposed to go further. And so if we didn't do that this year, it feels like a bigger letdown than last year where, it finished and, hey, that was a hell of a run. Congratulations. Where maybe this year, it's more of a letdown. Like we thought, you should have had more in you type of thing. But as a player, a loss is a loss. The season's over.
When you mentioned that's kind of the external perspective of what should or shouldn't have happened, do you feel those are fair, or what do you guys make of it internally?
Every year our goal is to win a Super Bowl. So if you're 1 game short, 2 games short, 3 games short, don't even make the playoffs, the pain is relatively the same. You don't get you don't get to go to the Super Bowl. You don't get to win. Yeah.
When we talked to Dawson a little bit ago about that Tampa game and how that led to that streak at the end of the season, what did you see happen for the team on either side of the ball in that game that, you guys built on for that remainder of the season into the playoffs?
I just think through the ebbs and flows of a season, we finally played our brand of football, which you saw for, complimentary on all 3 phases for that 4 or 5 game stretch. And then it just so happened that last night, our offense did a fantastic job, and we just couldn't make another stop defensively. So, but yeah, during that stretch, we were playing Buffalo Bills football, and that's the team that we had.
And then last for me, you mentioned Jerry and some of the other veterans. On the flip side, I was curious just what you saw from Greg and Boogie this season.
Yeah, I told both of them when we were walking off the field there how proud I was of them for having a hell of a rookie year, and let them know that they're both going to be in football games like that many times in their careers, their long careers, and to have this motivate them for the off season. Still remind them that it's not a given that you're going to make it to the second round of the playoffs every year, and so that you have to come with that hungry approach to your off season and come back here and make sure that they don't feel that ever again. But I'm very proud of them, and I'm so excited for the future that they have. I think they're going to be very good football players for a very long time.
Thanks, Harrison. Really appreciate your time.
Man of the year, Boogie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports 1080. How you doing today?
Could have been a lot better, but I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, I get it, bro. I definitely get it. Year 4 for you, man. Typically things start to slow down for you that third, fourth year, so to speak. So what have you learned, in year 4 that you didn't pick up on the previous 3?
I would say that's. You mean like schematically or just like as a person?
Schematically.
Oh, I came into the NFL and that was kind of one of my best strengths was understanding like offensive tendencies and defenses and stuff. So I learned our playbook very early. I think by the time training camp came, I was actually helping coach it to the other guys who've been there a year longer than I had even been. But each year you pick up on some new things. Eric Washington came in, after my second year. So he has a different philosophy of how pass rush works and those things. So my game evolved through the way that he sees a game versus kind of the system that Kyle Williams had when he was here. Every year you see blocks over, more and more times. I know when I was a wrestler, you used to have to do a move 1,000 times in practice before you could use it in a match. And then you do it 10,000 in practice before you could do it without even thinking. So in the same approach, I've now played 4 years of a reach block. And so, I don't know if that's thousands, probably not thousands, but, hundreds and hundreds of reach blocks I've seen now. I can feel it. I know where my hand should be, and, those type of things. So just the more and more, I think that's why you see a lot of guys in my position specifically peak in years 6, 7, 8, because now it comes easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. So, I'm still excited to reach my ceiling in the NFL. I know that there's still a big gap between where I'm playing and where I can play at.
Absolutely, man. Hey, we know the type of person you are, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you went to Stanford, so we'll know where that IQ definitely comes from. So, with that being said, horrible one, how does this loss challenge you to get better for next season?
It's tough. Again, it's just I love these things just because it's extra motivation, something I can think about in the dark night of a late workout or the early morning of a workout. You can try to pull strength from this, but I still have to do like my end of season review for myself and go back and rewatch a lot of the stuff and see what reoccurring themes came up in my game that I need to work on specifically. Obviously a lot of areas you can improve every year. So I'll kind of reflect on that in the next couple of weeks here and then put my goals together for the off season.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, are you planning to be back in Buffalo next year?
I don't think you can plan for anything. There's so much uncertainty in the NFL. Like I said earlier on the call, there haven't been any talks yet. But I definitely would hope to be here. This is a place that I came from pretty much a kid at 21 and a young man. Learned a lot here, have so much personal capital in the community and with the team and the organization here. And, I know with the future of where it's going with AJ and Boogie and Greg and Ed, and, I feel like we all work really well together. I know that they trust me and they come to me a lot for help. And I love being there for the guys. So, I definitely been praying for it for every day since I got drafted, that I'd be able to sign a very nice second contract stay here. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Hey man, it's been a pleasure to watch your growth, your development, as well as watching you play this year. I mean, you were phenomenal in the way you played, and what you do in community, man, is just bar none unanimously in what you do, and we appreciate that a great deal. So hopefully we can see you back, and I'll be getting that interview with you once that day comes. But hey man, have a healthy and enjoy the off season, my guy.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to do that interview too.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Harrison, it's Sal. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Okay. I'm at the KC airport waiting to fly out, trying to be quiet, but also got to do this. Hey, so I want to ask this the right way. I don't know how to kind of put it, but for fans, I've heard a lot. I did a radio show this morning. People are obviously, it's gut wrenching for them. It's, their kids. I have a son at home who's going through it. He's inconsolable this morning. It's tough, but I know it is for you guys, but it's your livelihood. It's your life. And we'll pick up, fans will pick up, media. We go on with our jobs. We have different things. So can you kind of take me into the process of kind of getting over this the way you have to get back into what you do professionally every day?
It's hard. It is. And again, we play in an entertainment business, and there's so many ways you can frame it that we're the luckiest people in the world and we have it so easy. And wow, yeah, you're going to go on vacations for the next month or whatever you want to do. But there's a very slippery slope that you can fall into depression from stuff like this. I mean, your whole life, you dream of accomplishing something. All the pieces are tilted to that's a real possibility. And then it's ripped off of you like a Band-Aid instantly. I mean, with one play, with 13 seconds. And I mean, it's tough. And I mean, that's why you have to be very mature. You have to be, it's a tough, you're mentally strong to survive in this business and, survive all the negative hate that you were already hearing and that's going to be coming on and, be able to persevere through that. And then again, have that growth mindset that I have to find ways that I can come back and be a better football player.
Good insight. Thank you very much. Always appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, George Radney, Challenger Community News. Good afternoon to you, Harrison. A couple quick questions for you. One, do you think in the last 13 seconds, just to have look it over, obviously, hindsight is always second. Do you think the defense could have been more aggressive or should have been more aggressive in those last 13 seconds of not playing off the line of scrimmage on the wide receivers?
Yeah, I actually, I don't even know exactly what the defensive play call was. I wasn't out there and I didn't have the headset. But I think everyone, it doesn't come down to that play. You go to the first play, the second play, the third play of the game. There's 70 some odd plays that, we should turn the ball over more, been better on third down. You can't pinpoint one specific play or situation. If you guys have the opportunity to talk to Coach Frazier, maybe he can tell you his opinion on how he felt he called the defense. But we trust Coach Frazier, and whatever he plays, we call, or whatever he calls, we play.
Absolutely. And also, what makes Mahomes so elusive? Because it looked like, even from the press box looking down, it looked like you guys almost had your hands on him, and next thing you know, he's still moving and twisting and turning and all of a sudden breaking away. What does he have? Is it deceptive speed that he has, or what is it that allows him to escape
he has a lot of tools in his toolbox, and he has pretty quick feet. So a lot of times, like if somebody is looking down the routes and then they start looking down at the rush, they're gonna take off running. That's not always the case with him. So he'll look down at the rush and then evade and then look back out to pass. And then he some quarterbacks have like a specific lane that they escape from. Mahomes can kind of, he'll roll out to his left, he'll escape through a B gap, he'll just take off straight, roll out. Sometimes he'll just roll out to run, sometimes just roll out to pass. So yeah, I mean, he's very elusive. Like I said, he has a lot quicker feet than it appears.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's elusive and tried to extend plays. Our back end did a fantastic job in coverage, holding up, giving us an extra, giving us a chance to try to contain him and try to get home. But yeah, he's elusive.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Great season. Really appreciate. I'm still in Kansas City, and for people here, they can't believe they even won the game. So that's a testament to what a great game it was. It's a lot of accolades for both teams. A great game, well played by both teams yesterday. And have a great off season.
Thank you.
Hey, Harrison, it's Catherine again. I know Star kind of had an up and down year just with being able to be available, but what did he mean to this team and bring to this defense?
Yes, Star's. I think I said it a couple weeks ago, but like I respect Star so much. He's been probably, when I think about it in my career, the most important player in my career to me, to my development, and more so off the field than on the field. But just always encouraging and always helping me, trying to find ways to believe in myself. And he knows the position really well. So if a coach says, "Oh, do it this way," whatever, sometimes he might pull me back, be like, "Hey, look. The reality of it is, yeah, they want that, but this is a better way to do it. And here's what I've had success doing." And then, just being my biggest supporter in the room too. I mean, he wants me to succeed so much. So I'm very happy for Star. I'm very proud of him, and he's had an amazing career. I hope that I get to play with him again.
When you mentioned that you still need to watch some a film of either last night or recently in the season, are you someone who wants to rip the Band-Aid off and watch that sooner, or do you need to have a little space from last night's game before you go back and break it down a little bit more?
No, I'll go right away and start breaking it down. Help me sleep better at night.
And then when you were talking to Sal about, this is such a hard thing for you guys to process when you invest so much in it. What does the team do to help you guys support you guys in that way off the field at this point of the season when, it is a crushing end and you guys have built towards it so much? Are there things behind the scenes that the team is doing to support you there?
We have the resources in our building. We have Dr. Dez, who's our sports psychologist, that you can obviously go see. And then, the coaches in all the meetings say, text or call if you ever need anything. And I think they're very genuine with that. That if something is bearing on you too much, that you can reach out and they would be there for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Harrison. Again, really appreciate all of this and your time.
Thanks, guys.